I think that the governor of Imo State, my brother, Uzodinma, should allow the security agencies to do their proper investigation. Now, it is too early now for him to come out to say it's a political assassination. Having done that, it means that you already know. And knowing that the political assassination means that you already know those who committed that crime. And that will not be fair. See, when things of this nature happen, allow the security agencies to really go into the matter and then say, look, from our investigation, this is what we found out. Remember, even for the pages of newspaper, when we had this news, if I'm not correct, the police said that Ahmed Gulak was killed by bandits. Police said when he left without no security. I mean, and one would ask yourself a question, knowing today the security situation in Nigeria, and even the one in the southeast. I want to talk about it in Imo State. We all know what has been going on in Imo State. How could a man at that level come to Imo State, incognito, appear before they said he came for the constitutional amendment program, which means people may have seen him or people knew he was there. And then he left his hotel, incognito, no security, no nothing, no official vehicle. So for me, I think it is too early for anybody to take the conclusion.
Assassination, that means Uzodinma knows and should be held accountable for the killing of Ahmed Gulak. What's your take as regards this?
ICC, International Criminal Courts, because there are many IPOB youths in Igbo land whose life were wasted as a result of assassination of Ahmed Gulak. Ahmed Gulak was killed the first day there was sit at home in Imo State. And actually, they know that that day was the first implementation of boycotts from business activities, from civil servants, government, federal government agencies going to their normal duties. It was the first day of implementation of sit at home in the southeast. How then? Who invited Gulak into southeastern Nigeria? Who told Gulak to come and collect whatever money or incentives, from Imo State government house? You know what I'm trying to say? You know that Wike is always like to be on the news. Now he has turned all his venom onto Uzodinma. That Uzodinma actually knows the killer of Ahmed Gulak. Ahmed Gulak was shot by unknown assailants. That was the first day we had sit at home in the southeastern Nigeria. And I know that some bloody, wicked politicians might like to cling on that sit at home order to perpetrate their dastard cruelty, that day. And actually they succeeded on doing that. Why could Ahmed Gulak venture into that kind of, let me say, transaction on the very day the Igbos are boycotting, activities, business in the southeastern Nigeria as a result of Nnamdi Kanu's, incarceration or arrest from Nairobi, Kenya. That was the first day. It was so deadly in the southeast because no one came out. Teachers, that is schools, businessmen, that is traders. Then you are talking about civil servants, state and federal, local government. Everybody were indoor. Ahmed Gulak left north. Alighted from a plane at Owerri Airport. Then alighted, with his Sienna on the way to Uzodinma's government house, Imo. Don't you know that in Combe, something there? I don't know what I understand. And without now, federal troop, federal, military, the armed forces, the police began to suspect IPOB youths. And of course, that nobody was after killing anybody. They were just expressing their grievances. Why must Nnamdi Kanu be extraordinary, rendition from Nairobi, Kenya? And it was that first day that they gunned down Gulak Mohammed. Politicians in Nigeria should know among themselves. Even Wike himself is not left out. How did he know? How did Wike know that it was Uzodinma?
Ahmed Gulak was in Imo State for a national assignment. He came to Owerri with the Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendment. Being a humble man, he chose to travel incognito, according to his friend that was with him during the incident. Someone must have trailed him from his hotel to the airport. That is exactly why this gruesome murder appears to be a clear case of political assassination.
I think that the governor of Imo State, my brother, Uzodinma, should allow the security agencies to do their proper investigation. Now, it is too early now for him to come out to say it's a political assassination. Having done that, it means that you already know. And when there's a political assassination, it means that you already know those who committed that crime. And that will not be fair. See, when things of this nature happen, allow the security agencies to really go into the matter and then say, look, from our investigation, this is what we found out. Remember, even for the pages of newspaper, when we had this news, if I'm not correct, the police said that Ahmed Gulak was killed by bandits. Police said when he left without no security. I mean, and one would ask yourself question, knowing today the security situation in Nigeria, and even the one in the southeast, and not to talk about it in Imo State. We all know what has been going on in Imo State. How could a man at that level come to Imo State, incognito, appear before they said he came for the constitutional amendment program, which means people may have seen him, or people knew he was there. And then he left his hotel, incognito, no security, no nothing, no official vehicle. So for me, I think it is too early for everybody to take the conclusion.
Tell me now, how could somebody just like that in Rivers State now myopically telling people that it was Uzodinma that planned Gulak's shooting? How did Wike know? The worm, the ant, the caterpillar that eats the vegetable is living within the vegetable. Federal government should sweep into action and arrest Wike to tell the whole world how come, how did he know it was Uzodinma that actually planned shooting of Gulak. That's a political assassination. I'm blaming Wike because Wike is coming up with an empty accusation. A man that denied his kinsmen, his ancestors, that is not an Igbo. A man that is in the APC, he is in another political party, PDP, committing all manners of anti-party activities against PDP. Is now pointing accusing finger at Uzodinma. The Uzodinma masterminded shooting of Mohammed Gulak. Someone hope Uzodinma well, good. That is good for him. Uzodinma, Chebi, he belongs to their clique. It's one of the weakest cliques. They are the one that are masterminding electoral malpractices in Nigeria. Each and every time there is or was political presidential election in Nigeria. Hope Uzodinma. Yes, Adam Ochomole. Yes, Wike, Tinubu, they work hard to manipulate it. And they all manipulated 2023 presidential election. They all manipulated 2019 presidential election. They all manipulated 2015 presidential election. So what is it that is bringing trouble in the camp of these electoral manipulators experts? See, let me tell you, it is part of their expertise. They know too well how to rig elections. They know too well how to fight their oppositions. And I'm telling you that what is happening now is an implosion. It has begun to implosion. It won't be an explosion because nobody outside their camp would know about it or be among the trouble that is coming ahead. It's an implosion. It's going to implode, and it has actually imploded. Because it is happening within APC, it is happening within PDP. The both political parties are very, very bad party currently, judging by the level, rate of defection we have in PDP, into APC political platform. So it is all their headache. I'm telling you, from PDP to APC, APC to Tinubu, Tinubu to Wike, Wike to Uzodinma to Rochas Okorocha, all of them. Look at Charles Soludo, an Apuga man behaving like APC, even promising Tinubu he will win an election in Anambra State. even after giving him some parcels of land to build a rest home, Tinubu is mimicking that senseless governor of Anambra State. Mimicking. And the Soludo doesn't understand all these games. You see one thing, many people are living in township. But if you look at their character, they are all behaving like bushmen. Soludo is not living in the township. From Onitsha to Isuofia, how many kilometers? Isuofia to Oka, how many kilometers? Charles Soludo has never tested township in his life. From his home to UNN Nsukka, from UNN Nsukka to Central Bank of Nigeria, Central Bank of Nigeria to his mansion in Abuja is a bushman. Yes, they should settle among themselves. Nothing concerns us. Wike, if he likes, he should consult Nnamdi or native doctors or some prophets to tell him who was behind Gulak shooting. It has nothing to do with Igbos. The reason why I'm bringing ICC into this matter is that many Igbo youths suffered, died as a result of Gulak shooting. They killed over 10 Igbo youths, accusing them of masterminding assassination of Muhammad Gulak. Those youths are innocent. Their blood are crying for vengeance upon Brutai, the former chief of army staff, upon the head of Buhari, the former Nigerian president, upon Uzodinma, the current bloody Imo State governor. The blood of those innocent youths, Igbo youths, that they shot, arrested them, wasted their lives, accusing them of killing Gulak. And today, the truth has surfaced that the killers of Gulak are not IPOB members. And today, from the horse's mouths, from the governor's mouth, from the political juggernauts, all of them in the southeastern and south Nigeria, much hot argument going on among themselves, debating who are actually the culprits that assassinated Muhammad Gulak.
Okay, we know that the federal government are serious as regards using this Ahmed Gulak, death to frustrate the effort or the release of Nnamdi Kanu. But with this, a lot of people have come out on social media, have come and said that if Uzodinma wants to be forgiven, that he should make himself or take himself to the court and testify that Nnamdi Kanu is not, the one that killed Gulak, and will be forgiven. Since will be forgiven, do you think this is visible?
Yeah, if actually hope Uzodinma want to be forgiven in Igbo land, it should go to court and testify against what those masquerade are saying. Those masquerade are testifying nonsense, testifying immodest. Immodest, I don't care. They are not the SS. If they are the SS, they should unmask their faces. They might be Fulani, they might be Igbos, they might be Yoruba. They were paid mercenaries working for federal government, all in the name of money, to nail Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Hope Uzodinma should go to court and testify that Gulak assassination has nothing to do with the IPOB. Let me tell you, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has no hand in anybody's assassination in Igbo. He's a free man, he's an innocent Biafra agitator. They are making matters worse for him. And if I could be in the position of Omotocho, I should tell them that Hope Uzodinma, Gulak, Nnamdi Kanu, they are three different cases. What we are here for is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's order, his abduction, incarceration, and case that, ran from 2015 till date. Gulak shooting was in 2021. It has nothing to do with agitation of Biafra. He went to southeastern Nigeria the very day first sit-at-home enforcement, began. And today, we see him, he died. We see him die of an unknown circumstance. And nobody could actually unravel what went wrong that day. The invitee, the person that invited him, is Hope Uzodinma. Hope Uzodinma is in a position to tell the whole world better. Simple, better. It isn't Nnamdi Kanu, nor those youths whose lives were wasted. If Hope Uzodinma could go to the court and testify in favor of Nnamdi Kanu, later ICC should invite him to tell ICC who are the masterminders of shooting of 10 Igbo youths accused of killing, assassinating Muhammad Gulak. Many people, many Igbos, many youths lost their life in the past as a result of Hope Uzodinma's, dictatorship. A dictator turned governor of Imo State, a bloody 419 man that actually maimed and killed the Imolites in their large numbers. He is in the position to tell the whole world who are those politicians that actually murdered Gulak. He targets political assassination. There are politicians behind the mask testifying against Nnamdi Kanu. There are politicians behind sit at home, buying and unaliving people in their large numbers in the southeastern Nigeria. Hope Uzodinma could tell us the components of Ebubagu. Who are the Ebubagu agents that actually masterminded killing of those 16 Igbo youths that went for wine carrying, traditional marriage in Igbo land?
Okay, Mr. Just a quick answer. But so a lot of people have come out and said that recently the killings in Imo State might not even be as regards Biafra decision, that it might be what political opponent of Uzodinma, that Uzodinma as so agreed that Uzodinma was not the rightful winner of the Igbo, yes. So some are saying it might be his rivals are the one causing the mayhem in Imo State, even that possibly I don't even buy Ahmed Gulak. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I do. Sit at home order. There are many rampaging politicians, during the time it was enforced for the first time, 2021. There are many other rampaging assassins, assassin kingpins, rampaging in the south under the aegis of this, let me say, what's the name of this guy's group? Asari Dokubo. Yeah, men, there's something like that, See, let me tell you, Asari Dokubo was culpable many assassinations in the southeastern Nigeria. I'm telling you that the killing of Chike Akunyili, yes, the agents were agents of Babangida Buhari government. The agents he sent, spearheaded by Asari Dokubo. Asari Dokubo later confessed that he worked with Muhammad Buhari. That was the one that are operating. He was among the people that were operating on Abuja Highway, Kanu Highway as kidnappers and assassins on the highway. Then again, he actually assassinated many Igbos, many politicians in the south and southeast. I don't want to understand. So killing or assassination of Muhammad Gulak, Hope Uzodinma should go to court and testify and actually invite Asari Dokubo to give us his own testimony or his own, story, point of view, on how many politicians were being assassinated in the past in the southeast, southern Nigeria. Muhammad Gulak was killed, a very high-profile assassination that could not be, disassociated with, politicians rampaging to settle scores among themselves. So what I'm trying to say is that Asari Dokubo is in, Hope Uzodinma is in. IPOB were busy that day expressing their grievances by telling everybody in the southeastern Nigeria not to go to work, but boycott their official duties. If you are a civil servant, boycott sales that day. If you were a businessman, boycott classroom that day. If you could be or were a student. That was what actually went on in the southeast, and it occurred peacefully. But as assassination of Muhammad Gulak, Gulak was invited by some persons, yes, to come and collect money, and on his way, he was unalived by unknown assailants.
Hello, great people. One of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's prominent minister, Dave Umahi, who happens to be the Minister of Works, is currently in deep trouble with Nigerians, particularly people of Igbo extraction and women at large, for allegedly placing his hands on what many call the prestigious, the luxurious and elegant waist of Biaka Ojukwu, the wife of the late Odumegu Ojukwu. This happened in Anambra State during the president's visit to the state. Some of you think that the high point of the president's visit to Anambra State was when Governor Chukwuma Soludo made the declaration that APGA will be supporting the president in 2027 as against the former governor of the state, who happens to be a presidential prospect, Mr. Peter Obi. But some of you don't know that there's another issue that is making the rounds seriously, and which is that of Dave Umahi allegedly placing his hands on the waist of Bianca Ojukwu. On this episode with your sure plug, Dr. Omosholadeji, we will be dissecting this image that you are seeing on your screen. We'll be making sense of it. But before I do that, I would like to take some reactions that I saw on social media, because I realized that even Odumegu Ojukwu is speaking from his grave, and I will share the reaction of a social media page that bears the name Odumegu Ojukwu. I will share it with you, and some other interesting reaction that I have seen. Then after that, we will dissect the associated issues, why the people are reacting the way they are reacting. Then lastly, which is the big one, we'll be making sense of that particular image. We'll be dissecting it, we'll be reviewing it, and a whole lot more on this episode with your sure plug, Dr. Omosholadeji. First, let me share some comments with you which I find very, very interesting, which is that, for instance, as you can see on your screen, there is a comment by one Odumegu Ojukwu, and the picture of the husband of Bianca, the late Odumegu Ojukwu, is the profile picture. And the person said in capital letter, you know, when you write in capital letters, it means you are screaming. And it says, Umahi. So that means that Odumegu Ojukwu is, you know, on a lighter note, you know, even screaming from his grave that, Umahi, how dare you? Is that not your hand on the waist of my wife? Now, let's take another comment by our Igbo brethren, which is that of Kajitan Chiko Uwoha, who says, another sexual harassment loading between Minister of Works and Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. If Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu slaps Umahi, his town men will begin defending him that Bianca Ojukwu is not beautiful. Please, what is wrong with these men in APC? You can see how stray bullet is meeting the men in APC, particularly the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. I have 6 interesting comments for you, and the last one is from a prominent person. Now, this is the third one from Greek Viewed TV, but from the image, it shows that the person is of the Igbo extraction. It says, politicians and women waste. Tinubu's minister, Chief Dave Umahi, on fire for attempting to grab the curved waist of Bianca Ojukwu during President Tinubu's visit to Anambra on Thursday. From the trending pictures, the Minister of Works, Engineer Dave Umahi, who is a titled man on chieftaincy red cap, was allegedly placing his hands on the expensive waist of Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu, but received a light resistance from the former Miss Nigeria. Now, the next comment that I find interesting is that of Theophilus Ukachukwu, who says Umahi finds favor in the waist of Ojukwu's wife. Senate will still summon him for trespassing and trying to replace Akpabio. You can see how straight bullet is meeting the Senate President. He said this present Senate will soon pass a bill to prevent ministers from sitting close widows. Trust me, the eyes will have it under Akpabio. And another one says, what is happening here with Bianca Ojukwu? They said Senator Akpabio has chosen David Umahi as his successor. Reaction, she simply blocked the hand of Mr. Dave Umahi, who want to reap where he did not sow. All these comments are coming from the Igbo brethren. I need to take them before I now kind of like give you my own perspective on it. And now, the last one that I want to take is that of Rudolph Okonkwo. Some of you know him as Dr. Damages. He says that looking for evidence of the prevalence of sexual harassment in Nigeria, Dave Umahi provides Natasha Akpoti, another woman, with one. In this picture, Bianca Ojukwu skillfully prevented the Minister of Works from touching her after he put his hand around her waist. This public display is proof that a lot of Nigeria's big men are predisposed to harassing women. That is from Rudolph Okonkwo, popularly called Dr. Damages. Some of you know him on YouTube. He's quite popular on the platform. Now, let us go back to the issues. First, what I can say, I need to read this comment to you because I have some things as regards it. And the first thing is that I must say that Ojukwu, the late Odumegu Ojukwu, will be proud of his Igbo brethren. Wherever he is right now, he will be so very proud because the blaming, the condemnation on Umahi is massive. It shows that the Igbo people still loves Ojukwu dearly because Ojukwu has died so many years ago, maybe about 10 years or more, and the people are still policing his wife. They are still interested in what happens to his family. That is quite interesting. That doesn't happen every time. That somebody would have died many years ago and people will still be putting eye on his wife or on his family. That rarely happens. So I think Odumegwu Ojukwu will be proud anywhere he is, and that shows the love that the Igbo people have for Odumegwu Ojukwu, because the blaming, the condemnation on Umahi is massive, just as I just read for you, and not many people are giving him a benefit of the doubt. And one thing I noticed is that Ojukwu seems to be to the Igbos what Abacha is to Kanu. And the way the Igbo people love Ojukwu, that's the way Abacha people love Kanu. I used to think Abacha is a bad guy, not until I did my NYC years ago in Kanu, and I saw Abacha's picture on every commercial motorcycle and commercial vehicles at that point in time. And I was thinking, oh, is this not the same Abacha that people are saying is bad? So to the Igbo people, I think Ojukwu is to them what Abacha is to the Kanu people. They love him and they revere him. Now let us go to the big one, which is the analysis of that image. Now I need you to look at that image carefully, and if you are a polythinker, a genuine one, an ardent viewer of my channel, I want to see your perspective of that particular image in the comment section. But I will share mine with you, which is that if you look at this particular image very well, you will see that Bianca cannot reach out for Umahi's hand from the back, in the sense that it is not easy for Bianca to put her hand at the back and be reaching out for Umahi's hand, but it is more easy for Umahi to stretch his hand to the back of Bianca, to reach out for the waist of Bianca. It's quite easy for Dave Umahi. So if you look at that image very well, you will see that there would have been an excuse for Umahi if Dave Umahi was sleeping, in the sense that that if his legs slipped and he was about to fall down, then his hands moved backward and he tried to grab Bianca to support himself from not falling down. That would have been a bit arguable. But if you look at it, Dave Umahi is standing tall, is not falling down in any way. So you can imagine that what would his hand be going towards the waist of Bianca Ojukwu. Another thing to look at is that even if you want to greet Bianca Ojukwu, from the look of things, Bianca is facing front, Bianca is looking forward. So if Dave Umahi is just coming from the back, if he wants to greet Bianca Ojukwu, the logical way is maybe Max to kind of like put your hand round her neck and say, oh, my sister, how are you? The usual greeting. That is the max that you can do. But for you in a public gathering to now reach out, that your hand is now reaching out and is now going to the waist region, it may not be intentional, it may not have any bad intention, but then it shows that Dave Umahi himself needs to be very careful, and he needs to kind of like watch how his hands move forward and backward so that his hands doesn't put him in trouble. Imagine if he doesn't know how to control his hands. Imagine if it were to be Remi Tinubu. Just imagine it, that in this picture is Remi Tinubu. That can get Umahi fired if Bola Ahmed Tinubu sees the picture and his head goes haywire that, my darling Remi, my precious Remi, my one and only, what is your hand doing there? That can put him in serious trouble. So I think that if you look at that image very well, I think Dave Umahi needs to be very careful, more careful, if I can say, in terms of the movement of his hand, because it is easy for Umahi to reach out for Bianca's waist than for Bianca to put her hand at the back. It is not easy for Bianca to greet Umahi putting her hand at the back, but it is easy for Umahi to reach out for the waist of Bianca in the name of greeting her. And if you look at it very well, the length of Umahi's hand, take a look at that picture, the length of Umahi's hand from his shoulder across to Bianca is beyond unconscious, in the sense that it is not just a little stretch, it is a long stretch. If you look at that picture very well, the length of Umahi's hand from his shoulder across to Bianca's waist is beyond unconscious. And that is why I said Dave Umahi needs to be very careful. But then again, is there something between the two of them? Well, maybe not. But what I can say is that if so, well, they are adults and they are free to make choices. If you look at it, Umahi is not a bad guy, and Umahi is not somebody that is not qualified to date Bianca Ojukwu in the true sense of it. Umahi is a former governor, he's a minister, he's not a small boy, you know, to use street balance. Umahi is a big guy as well. So if they find love in the sight of each other, I believe Umahi is married. So I don't know where Umahi want to place his wife if they are allegedly in love. But then again, you know, he has to be very careful the way they interact in public. That is if something is between them. But then, like I said, they are free to make choices because they are adults. And if you look at it anyway, Ojukwu, the late Biafra leader Ojukwu died over 10 years ago. So what will stop his wife from kind of like having an affair if she so decides to? Ojukwu died so many years ago. So I think it is unfair for people to be policing Bianca's body when Ojukwu has died so many years ago. It is not a year ago or 2 years ago. And like I said, Bianca is free to make a choice. So it is between both of them. But I hope that we won't get all this harassment allegation back and forth as regards this. It's been an interesting time with you. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past video. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.